Hi, this is Sean from JDS Industries. In this tutorial, we're going to sublimate glass. This is a tempered glass. It comes in 4x6 to 7x10 in portrait and landscape, and it has a white opaque back. So it has a very reflective quality, this glass does. When we print this, one thing you want to remember is to make sure you print it right reading, not reversed, because this sublimation is going to go on the back of the product. Okay, so the things we need here are the transfer. This one's printed with sawgrass inks. Our substrate. Make sure you have the pin in the correct location at the bottom. And we'll leave the pin for later after we assemble. And I'm just going to use 2 pieces of heat tape to apply the transfer to the glass. And there's a couple different techniques we use when we do glass, and I'll show you how we layer the press and all the settings that we do in the press in just a moment. So once we have this lined up, and by the way, I do recommend that you have at least a 1/16 to an 1/8 inch bleed around your product so you can easily line up the product with the transfer. Alright, let's go over to the press, and we're going to set this press up at 400 degrees for about 3.5 minutes with light to medium pressure, and we're also going to use a Nomex pad, and we'll show you that in a moment. Alright, so we line up our substrate and transfer in the middle of the press. What I have on here, this is a Teflon sheet on the bottom. This protects my pad from wear and tear. The Nomex pad is important. It helps even the pressure, and we use the Nomex pad when we do breakables, glass, ceramics, and that type of thing. So you definitely want the Nomex pad when you do sublimation on glass. Again, there's a certain way we layer the press, so it's Nomex pad, transfer, then glass on top of the transfer. So we're sublimating through the front to the back. And the nice thing about this, well, one benefit the way we do this is that you can actually see the sublimation as it's finished. When you open the press, you can actually see if it's finished or not just by looking at it through the glass. So 3 minutes for, 3.5 minutes at 400 degrees, and I'm going to put a Teflon sheet over the top of this. And when we take this out of the press, it's going to be very hot, so be very careful. Okay, let's remove our items from the press. Release the handle slowly. Again, be very careful because this is going to be very hot. The glass is going to stay hot for quite a while. I'm going to go ahead and just rip the paper through the back to remove the transfer. And then if you want, some people use heat gloves. I'm just going to use the paper. You can actually put the paper underneath the glass to transport it to the table. Okay, we'll let that cool for just a little bit, and then we'll do the final assembly with the pin. All right, I think our piece is cool enough to handle. By the way, I put a piece of aluminum down here to help draw out the heat a little bit, cools it off a little bit quicker. So what we have is our finished product, a gorgeous piece here, and we're just going to apply the pin and set it up. These are silver pins. Just have 1 screw or 2 screws depending on the size. The larger pieces have 2 screws. Place the pin in. Finger tight is fine. There you have a finished product. These can be used for promotional items, for